Now we're looking for the presence of the geometric shapes within everything that we draw. And this now is something simple, but it will help. When you're drawing ellipses, you want to maybe come from the outside in. And this is the front, an ellipse, a circle in perspective. There's more depth here and less depth at the back. Because of perspective, but we can manage freehand with this. And if we're going to make a cone shape, make sure you put your dot halfway between one side of the ellipse and the diameter, one side and the other. And you're keeping all your lines very light. You can do a phantom line and not make an actual line until you're ready. So and onto this we want to draw a sphere. And use your whole arm. Don't just use your fingers and your wrist. Use your whole arm. Feel the whole thing moving. This is a gesture. Gestures are very helpful when you're feeling your way to finding a shape. And then with this on top, we're going to put a cylinder. So we've got our cone present. We've got our sphere present. Now we're going to put a small cylinder. And another cone. We'll make this a big cone. Remember how to get your ellipse. Put a straight line and then bring this from the edge. Bristle from the back. This is our cone, but we're going to make it rather abrupt. Or if you run out of space like I did, you can just shuffle your paper. Our drawings are made from very many layers. So I can put another piece of paper over top of this now and refine my drawing, but I'm just going to continue right on here. Most of what we'll be doing though is doing a base drawing sketchily and then refining over top. It's our lamp. So now I'm going to start making smaller shapes. That's all that details are, is smaller shapes. So we've got an abbreviated cone, a sphere, a little cylinder, and abbreviated cone on the bottom. And in terms of shading it, that's not difficult either. You just choose up one side or the other to be in shadow. So we'll choose the right side. And this is hatching, and it's following the form. All hatching is just straight lines as equally placed apart as you can get them. And we're just going to put these in. It's easy to want to just scratch them in, like I have, but you don't. You try to put them in a organized kind of way. structured kind of way. And on the sphere itself, that will have light at the top as well. So this is our light side. There'd be a little halftone over here. And there's a shadow. And then just like this cone, we'll have a shadow over here on this cone. Now, when you're putting the hatching in on the sphere, you have a choice. You can go with the form, or you can go straight down. If you go with the form, start from one side and make your way over to the other so that the rhythm falls into sequence as you go. Now, all of this is great practice for your hand and eye. So, even though this may not be the Mona Lisa, it's gotten us to practice several things, the skills that we need. So there we have it. We've got 3 combinations of geometric shapes all together there. And if you want to add color, that's not difficult to do. You can put a little bit of shadow over top. If we have, say, you have 2 values of blue. If we go with blue, we can put, this is a little tricky, I've got my dark blue, I've got my hatching. Now with the shadow mapping, you have a reflected light on a cone. So that's exactly why we look into these geometric shapes, so that we have a way of shading them that's uniform. We always do it this way. But you have a core dark. It's darkest inside the form, not at the edge. So, and that will give you some reflected light in the shadow. And as long as this whole sequence of shadow is darker than the light, then it will be fine. It will convey what you want. Now this is the opposite on this side. It's dark here. And this is the shadow side on here. And this too has a core dark. It's darkest inside the form, not at the edge. If you want to go with something more golden down here, put in a little bit of yellow first. There's our yellow and a little bit of this color. And sometimes for shadow, purple works better, especially in this case because it's the complement of, so rather than using that dark deadly brown, which I think has a lot of black in it, you might prefer to use the purple. And then again you have to redo your colors. Remember when we were blending them, we had to go back and put them in again. And then we can maybe add a little bit of the dark brown because we want this to be dark. And we can still see the paper showing through. Now once I've added that, I need to add it in to the reflected light as well, on the reflected side. It's going to influence everything. And what's missing now is my thicker outline. So you could use your number 7. We could use our number 7 or 07. And I'm not going to go inside the form. I'm just going to stay on the edge of the form. And the reason for that is that I want to make a powerful silhouette, so that the first thing you see and understand is that it's a lamp shape. And you're not having to stay taped down, so you can move your paper and draw from different angles. Could try a little of the light blue over on this side. I'm going to put a little bit of the purple in here. So it's very important to repeat your colors. It's kind of a garish looking thing, but it's important to use, I think, the pencil crayons to play. And then when you go back in to use your markers, you'll see the two different mediums will add something to each other. And then to cast a shadow, you can either just put a shadow all underneath it, or you just kind of reflect the shape of it out here. Flat. You just kind of flatten it. And shadows are soft. They're not harsh. So you don't want to make it too hard. You can put more shadow underneath it though. And the shadows are a little darker closer to the form and lighter as they move away. And then with color, you just keep playing with it until you get something that you like. With the pencil crayons, you have that flexibility. And then you see, you'll bring this into your marker work, how you play around here. This looks like one of those old-fashioned grandma types. I know, even your grandmas would be my grandmas. We've all seen these funny looking lamps. Well, maybe not this funny, but... So that's kind of some fun you can have with your pencil crayons and your line technique.